It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, it's the weekend. What's happening, everybody? The Geno Jones Show. Bam! You can see the sign behind. I know you're saying, hold on, Geno, slow down. We can read. Just helping you out. So, I come to you, my normal start days and times are Monday through Friday. Now, holidays and special occasions, I'll let you know if there's not going to be a live show. You can check out the best of. Just go to my YouTube channel. Subscribe, share, screen grab, create a viral moment on your platforms here on YouTube, on TikTok, on Snapchat, on Instagram, even on that old racist ass, formerly known as Twitter, X, Facebook, you name it. Or just, screen grab some video and text it to your friends or email it to them, copy and paste the link. Subscribe, share, screen grab, like, and binge watch all my back episodes. Normal start days and times are Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Speaking of Friday, yes, Friday, it's the weekend. You know what that means? Yes, my special guest co-host, Miss Keila Carson, is going to be in the building. As a matter of fact, she's in my virtual green room, and you will see the lovely melanated sister in her full regalia, in full bloom. Shortly, let me start off by congratulating, first of all, I want to congratulate a brother named Antonio Pierce. He's going to be the next head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. Good dude. He took over for a coach that the whole team hated. And they gave the brother a shot, and he did great. The team, everybody in the locker room, the black players, the white players. As a matter of fact, one of the best players on the team is a white brother named Max Crosby. He's like, yo, y'all need to hire this man, or y'all can trade my ass. I'm out of here. So he had dudes like Max Crosby. He had another player, a brother named, used to play for the Green Bay Packers, Devontae Adams, that was co-signing and caping for Antonio Pierce. So shout out to the Raiders. Shout out to Mark Davis, son of Al Davis. Google Al Davis if you're not into sports. One of the founders of the American Football League. And he would be considered progressive in terms of, as a matter of fact, so Al Davis, the current owner, Mark Davis, his dad was Al Davis, used to own the Raiders. So Al Davis was the first NFL owner to hire a black head coach, to hire a Hispanic head coach, Art Shell, who's from right here in North Charleston, South Carolina. Tom Flores won a Super Bowl with Jim Plunkett, who was a Native American quarterback, a person of color. So Al Davis is way ahead of his time, but he didn't give a damn. And the other owners hated him. And one of the reasons now we know they hated him, because he hated the racism and he would call it out. And he had money, so he didn't give a damn. Y'all do what y'all want to do. So shout out to the Raiders. Congratulations, Antonio Pierce. Congratulations to a team that I hate. No, I ain't talking about the Cowboys. I hate it. The Patriots. Satan and Bin Laden's team. They used to call it. With the former coach Bill Belichick, Shady Tom Brady. Well, they hired a black. Shout out to the owner, Robert Kraft, who said, I hired the most qualified coach to coach my team, and he just happened to be black. That's beautiful, Robert Kraft, who has a complicated past too. You can Google Robert Kraft in massage parlor in Florida and how they dropped the charges. I digress. Gerard Mayo, the head coach for the Patriots. I'm not going to start rooting for the Patriots, but I want to shout out Gerard Mayo. And in his very first press conference, because obviously the elephant in the room was, hey, he's a black man. So the owner, Robert Kraft, said, well, I didn't hire him. He just happened to be a person of color. And so I guess some of the reporters asked the brother Gerard Mayo, do you see color? He said, yeah, I see color. He said, because if you can't see color, you can't see racism. Bingo, bingo, ding, 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 ding. Great answer. I'm not rooting for the Patriots, but I am rooting for Gerard Mayo. So I just wanted to congratulate them. Congratulations to Spellman College. They got a $100 million, as Dr. Evil would say from Austin Powers, $100 million gift, largest gift ever received. That is the largest gift given to any HBCU. That's actually one of the largest gifts by a single private donor that any college has received. So shout out to Spellman College. One of the board members and her husband, billionaire couple, made the donation, and they were melaninely challenged. All right, so shout out to the people that made that donation. 75% of that money, so $75 million, is going to go for scholarships, and 25% is going to go to repair the student housing. So I know a lot of, look, my daughter almost went to Spellman. She actually went to Clark Atlanta, and they all are right virtually on the same grounds. They share campus, Spellman, Morehouse, and Clark Atlanta University. So I know what Clark Atlanta University is, that freshman dorm with nothing nice, because in 110-degree heat, I'm carrying heavy-ass trunks up 3 flights of stairs all by my lonesome. I'll never, and the dorm is like a brick oven, because these are old, and you got to understand, like these HBCUs in Atlanta, they've been around like well over a century, okay? So these old buildings, air conditioning, you crazy? They lucky to have locks. It's just like a brick oven, that freshman dorm. I know it was back in 2004 anyway. So I'm sure there's some Spellman grads, alumni that's saying, well, damn, how come y'all wish y'all would have donated that money 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago when we had to stay in them hot-ass dorms and inferior housing, but I digress. So congratulations to Spellman College. Prayers go out for those who believe in the power of prayer. Snoop Dogg's daughter, her name is Corey Brodus. So she suffers from a condition, lupus, that I'm very familiar with because of my mother. My mother's been living with lupus for close to 4 decades now. And she had a severe stroke, talking about Snoop Dogg's daughter, Corey Brodus. So apparently she is on the road to recovery, but we're going to lift her up in prayer. And Monique, the comedian and actress, Academy Award winner, said, I told y'all so. And speaking of what Monique said, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, without any further delay, number 1 in your heart, number 1 in your program, and number 1 in your heart and mind, the lovely, the talented, multi-hyphenated when it comes to the resume, Miss Keila Corso. It's Friday, y'all. Y'all know how we get down. What up, Kiki?
Hi, how are you?
How are you? So listen, the floor is yours. We just right into it.
Shout out first. I'm just backtracking. I got to get in on the Spellman money to Miss Stryker and her husband, Mr. Johnson. Yeah, they're trustees, which is technically.
Well, the wife is on the board though. She's just actually on the board.
But I'm saying they're also trustees, and that's
now. Explain the difference for those who may not know. Explain the difference.
So a board member, you sit down and you make the decisions of a trustee is like, hey, this belongs to me. I'm not going anywhere. I am making a commitment to be responsible for this university. And all my finances or connections or whatever. And a board member acts in almost the same way, but not with the commitment.
So is that commitment,
okay.
Is there a legal binding
So
to any of that?
and trustees are usually voted on.
I was going to ask you about that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you may see like there will be the University of Michigan, for instance. Here, we vote on the trustees as a voter.
Oh, really? Oh, the public.
Yes.
Oh, I thought when you said vote, I thought like,
No,
private,
no.
people, like a corporate board. This the board
Uh-uh.
members vote who's going to be the
Right.
office holders and all that. But no, it's
Yeah. A
so
trustee is voted on by the public.
really.
You are entrusting this to these
Wow.
people.
Okay.
Yeah. So your name goes on the ballot.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, it's we're not just funny. We're educational. We use
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
human
Yeah.
entertainment. That's the
Yeah.
candy. And then when you
Yeah.
eat the candy, then we hit you with the knowledge and the wisdom. Go on, Keela
Yeah.
Carson.
Yeah. Yeah. So shout out to U of M, where I vote for my trustees. Anyway, so I did want to shout that out and to back you up on, enough cannot be said about infrastructure, as Obama tried to tell us when he ran. Hello, we need to fix. We need to fix stuff. It can't just keep going on and on and on and not with repair. Okay. So having said that, for them to put $25 million aside to make sure that campus gets the upgrades it needs, that's going to take care of that campus well into the future.
Yeah.
And that's important, especially when you talk about people wanting to come to the school. I mean, yes, it is a Spellman. I mean, it's just the top of the pops when it comes to historically Black universities, or any university for that matter. But for it then to look the way that it is,
To look the
for it to
part.
have, yeah, for it to have the same look as the educational value is important.
Yes.
That's
a good
very
point.
important. So I'm happy. And 25 million will go a long way to make sure the dorms and the buildings and, let's say, cafeteria, common halls, and all those things are up to date, and that they are about moving it toward the future with Wi-Fi and connectivity and
And
all
central
those
air
things.
and central air and
Central air.
elevators.
Yes, central air, elevators, showers, those kind of things. Yeah, that's important.
Because I don't know about Spellman, but I know they're all virtually on the same campus. They share the same
Yeah,
grounds.
Spellman and Morehouse is right
In
across the
Clark,
road.
Atlanta.
Across the street. Yeah, and
That's where Boogie went for 2 years, and she transferred. So that
gotcha.
freshman year, 2004, I can
Yeah,
tell you, they didn't have no elevator, and they
yeah.
didn't have no central air. They didn't even have a damn fan key.
And you're talking about Georgia.
Key, I told you, it was
It's hot.
110 degrees. I'll never forget, it was like 110 degrees. And I'm going up with this truck the Boogie had. I had to go 3 flights of steps. And I was in shape working out, but I had to
Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
one
to be
flight I
able.
had to take a break. I'm in the heat.
Yeah, to be able to have one of those elevators where you can move things in that's big enough, because it's a dorm, so you got to expect that people are constantly moving in, out, or at least twice a year. So you got to have the equipment and the upgrades to support that, and to keep women wanting to come to Spellman.
Yeah, good point.
That's just important. So kudos to them for doing that.
And take some
And
of that 25 million, put some damn elevators and some central air in them dogs, Key. I'm telling you.
I'm trying not to joke too much, but
I'll never, Key,
this
I have
is
to,
Georgia, and you're talking about Black women
and I'm still,
sweaty hair.
Let me say this. You see, I'm still suffering from trauma from this.
Okay.
I should get therapy.
You suffering. Listen, I'm sure Boogie had days when that hair was sweated out. I mean, come on. And this is a college for Black women.
Key, it was a brick. I'm telling you,
we need air.
Her room, it was like, how the projects made out of those old like cement blocks. That's that freshman dorm. And all the rooms is just these painted. They just painted over the damn cement blocks. So that cement block, it holds heat And
Yeah. And this is Georgia, and I keep saying this is Georgia.
Yes. And
it's not Michigan.
Key, in August. Because right before they moved in, it was August. I'll never forget, like the first. Key, I'll never forget that.
I'm sweating. You giving me a hot flash? So on the note of Black women, I came across a video this week because you mentioned Monique as you segued into me. And I saw a video of Monique, and it got me thinking about everything that's been happening with Taraji, with the comment that she made.
And for those who may have missed it, Keith, tell them the comment.
Okay, so I'll do the backstory. The backstory is Color Purple, long-awaited Christmas opening, Christmas Day. And of course, the celebrities in the movie, Taraji P. Henson being one of them, start doing the press junkets. On one of the press junkets, Taraji addresses the pay parity. And she says that, I haven't been paid what people think I have been paid throughout my career. She's talking about Empire. She's talking about the Tyler Perry movies. And then she said, and by the way, Hidden Figures, which was huge. Okay. Then she gives the whammadoo by saying, and even Color Purple, because I started not to take that job, she says, because they didn't want to pay.
Wow.
Now, so everybody gets to talking. Oh, Lordy. No, Taraji, don't do it. So then she starts doing other interviews. Of course, the other interviews, the question comes up. So she's talking about, then others start to come out and say, not to be flippant about it, but me too. And then all of a sudden, somebody started knocking on the mic. Hey, remember me? My name is Monique. Remember I tried to tell y'all mofos?
Y'all said I was hard to work with, and Oprah, and why you gonna dog out Oprah and Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels?
And so,
Key, remember she even got into it on camera with Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
Because he basically was taking the side of Oprah and Tyler.
That's right, because Steve was like, because Steve's point was that, come on, we people, meaning Black people, is there a better way we can handle this? Can we go, basically, there is a saying in the Black community that we don't air our dirty laundry.
Yep.
Right, and so we try to keep those things in the background, even though
not for the other cultures to see us going back and forth between each other.
Right. But to Monique's point, that's okay if we trying to work it out. But time out for keeping things in the background if you were not going to do anything about it. Now, I'm willing to hold your secret if we're going to work this out.
And Keith, wrong is wrong. And we can't talk about healing until we tell the truth. Now,
exactly.
The truth may hurt. You can't handle the truth, but we can't talk about healing. And if we really going to be about equality and equity, then tell the truth, shame the devil, as my grandmother said. The truth needs no defense. Okay. So we can't front. Let's make it right. But the first way to make it right is to acknowledge that it was wrong.
That is a problem. Okay, and say I'm sorry. So within this, Monique even brought out more, which I didn't know. She started talking about 50 Cent, as you corrected me on, and him saying that she asked him, well, did you pay Taraji what she deserved? And he said, well, I paid her more than she had made up until that point. And Monique said, that's not what I asked. What I asked was, did you pay her what she was worth? And he said, well, I paid her more than she had been paid. See, Now, and I get what 50 Cent is saying, that she hadn't made that much, but
you ain't still
what?
paid her what she's really worth. You know what
Right. Come on now. And that's what Taraji was saying. Because according to Taraji, nobody has paid her. That's Oprah on down.
Right. Black, white directors, producers,
nobody
none of y'all
has paid her the value that she brings. And by value, she means when she does a movie or a TV show or whatever it is, she brings viewership. Listen up, everybody. The more viewers you have, the more you can charge sponsors. Sponsors would be the people that air commercial or have the commercials. So the more audience you have, the more you can make Pepsi pay, or Coca-Cola, or Charmin toilet paper, or, Brillo pads, or whatever soda, Capri Sun. You can charge them more because you bring viewership. And so that's what Taraji means by her work.
And it's important. We got to mention this. And ticket sales when it comes to movies.
Yes.
Because Hidden Figures, I know like Hustle and Flow, because I was supposed to actually been in the movie, which is a long story. They shot it in Memphis when I was doing radio in Memphis. But
that's right.
That wasn't a big budget, but it made a lot of money compared to, what it took to make it and what it made. Hidden Figures, that wasn't a big budget, but it made, so she's got the receipts.
Yes.
She's got literally the receipts.
And speaking of Hustle and Flow, Terrence only made was it $15,000, $20,000 on that movie?
I saw that. I was like,
wait a minute. And the residuals he can't get because that's being paid to the character and not to him.
Well, okay.
In the paperwork, his character.
So the character got a bank account, so I can't think of dude's name, but the dude really exists, and he get the residuals.
Which means that the producers are getting the money.
Oh, snap. Well, okay, listen, not to call out the dead, but tell the truth, shame the devil. What did I just say? John Singleton. That's John Singleton.
He had to file the paperwork, but the character is being paid the money, not Terrence.
So, real quick story about Hustle and Flow.
Okay.
Talking about a backstory. This I know because they shot it in Memphis. So there was a white guy named Craig Brewer, that was his movie and his script. He actually had me and some other people in Memphis because I did an independent film right around that time. He saw they did like a little, little ghetto, little ghetto screening down in Memphis.
Yeah.
So he actually saw the movie. They had like a little local film festival. And he told me, I'll never forget, Craig Brewer told me and some other folks, he said, I like you, I want to put you, he said, don't tell anybody. He told us like a year before they even started shooting it in Memphis. He had told us about This Color Purple and that John Singleton, liked his work. By the time John Singleton got a hold of it, none of us was in it. John Singleton brought everybody. I think there may have been one woman, and I think there was a white guy that got a role. But everybody that you saw cast, from Taraji, Anthony Anderson, Luda, all of them, that was John Singleton.
Gotcha. I see. Terrence his character was DJ.
Okay.
So
and
that's
if you go back and if you can rent if you bought the DVD or whatever, or you can Google to do the IDBM, you'll see Craig Brewer's name in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that's the life of a Hollywood film. And back to Monique. Monique did make, I think she made $50,000 on Precious.
Wow. And got an Academy Award, Key.
Well, wait a minute. It was because it was an independent film. When Tyler and Oprah came on, they came on as producers after the fact.
Okay.
And the reason why that comes into play is because then they can do the distribution. Because if you don't have distribution, meaning getting it into the theater,
Yes.
then your film is not going to be shown. So when you have names like Oprah and Tyler,
and Lee Daniels,
and Lee Daniels,
as a director, they like, oh, it's a Lee Daniels.
But at that time, Lee Daniels was.
Well, he did The Butler, so he was hot because he did The Butler before that.
Right, but
Oprah and Tyler put it over
it wasn't
the top.
enough to get the distribution that he needed.
Yeah,
they needed an Oprah and a Tyler, so they came on. Movie is already made. They didn't have anything to do with the making of the movie, right? But they do the distribution. Monique is fine with what she got paid because she knew at the time when they made it that there was no money.
Right.
But then after that, she said, "Hey, listen, okay, when it's time to do the
press junket, traveling around promoting the movie.
That's right. Y'all gotta pay me." And most people don't understand that when celebrities do that, they do it on their own time. But in general, it's because you were paid so well to do the thing in the first place.
Or the producer.
Or they're being paid.
Yes, that's part of the deal. If they send you to New York to sit down with Gayle King, or if they send you to Detroit to sit down with Keela Carson, or send you to Chicago, somebody got to buy you a plane ticket.
That's right.
Per diem hotel. For food, hotel, travel, ground transportation, hire a driver.
That's right.
You can't
you might need an assistant.
Out of their own pocket and pay for all that.
Yep. You might even need hair and makeup. I mean.
Yes, you will. Wardrobe, all of that.
All of that, because you got to look good representing. So Monique, they were asking her to do all that out of her pocket. And she said, hell to the no.
She said, where they do that at?
No.
They don't do that in Hollywood.
That's exactly. And then because she said no, then the rumors started coming out. Oh, you're difficult
to work with.
There you go.
Difficult to work with, black women, and then of course all the racist, sexist, misogynistic tropes, especially that black women had to deal with. They just came cascading down from the heavens. Oh, lady, we told you, you're a black, angry black woman, and the work and
But she didn't stop. Then she called out Netflix, and on and on and on. And so the theme for right now, even though Monique was out there by herself on an island, now more people have joined. Cat Williams calling out Steve Harvey and Cedric and
Mark Curry kind of joined in, even though he did it.
That's right.
Now he did. Mark Curry confronted Steve Harvey at Motown 25. The story is the editors kind of took that part out. Well, yes, he did.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Google that. Yes, he did. Mark
Curry. Okay. I didn't know that. But
sure did.
But the point is that people are coming out, and I even sent you a video of celebrity chef.
Talk about that.
Called out Puff Daddy, saying that he wanted to offer him $55,000 a year to cook for him be available 24 hours a day for 7 days a week for $55,000.
Now,
really?
Where you gonna live in New York? Even
you ain't living in New York on that.
The late 90s, early 2000s.
You're not living in New York.
You can't even live in the projects in Queens. Right. You couldn't even live in Marcy where Jay-Z grew up. You can't even live in the Marcy project
for $55,000.
That's key. People, and this is no exaggeration, people pay that a year to park in a garage.
Yes, just to park in New York or Chicago, places like that. So, and this chef was a New York chef. I said, this is crazy, but this is how we do each other. So the whole point of me bringing this up is to say simply, we got to do better. We cannot expect others to pay us when we don't pay ourselves.
Come on.
Come on now. Stop asking your friend to do your thing for free or for half the rate. Pay. Pay your friends who are in business to do the job and pay them well like you want them to pay you. Stop. And our churches, they the worst offenders of this. Um, Always looking for you to do something. We'll do it in the name of the Lord. And is that your tithe and all, so we gotta stop. We can't expect others to treat us better than we want to treat ourselves or willing to treat ourselves.
And Key, let me say this, because this is not an indictment. This is not reflective.
No.
Yeah, let me finish this.
Go ahead.
This is not a reflection on all black people, not even the majority, but there is a segment in our community, and a part of it is because there's 400 plus years of brainwashing, all right, and buying into other people's ideology that thinks, well, the white man's ice is colder and water's colder, and if the white man says it, it's true. That's among us.
Right.
So pay, if there's a talented brother or sister that's got the skills, the receipts, the resume, and the talent, and the most talented or the best person for the job, like a white dude, Robert Kraft, who ain't known to be no civil rights activist, who hired this brother because the team stinks, and Belichick, he was like, dude, I'm older than you, but maybe you need to step aside, because these kids need a younger voice that can relate to them.
Right.
Pay somebody that looks like you the way you would pay a white person.
That's right.
I'm just telling the truth, Key.
And that's just right.
Because, you would not, look, you and I both know it. I know there's some black folks, if a white person said, to do this is X amount of dollars, they wouldn't think, they would break their hand, putting their hand, trying to go in their pocket.
To get it.
Come on now.
To pay it.
But with us, they'd be like, come on, bro, can you give a brother a hookup?
Yeah, name any designer purse or whatever. Black women lining up.
Yeah. Fendi, or Birkin bag, none of them folks. Louis Vuitton.
They're not dropping the prices for black folk, and we paying. We gotta be willing to pay Telfar the same amount of money.
Come on, that part.
If the quality is parallel, then pay. And listen, I understand that sometimes we can't afford to pay. That's different. I'm not talking about that, because sometimes we're not getting the budget to make the movie to, like other people are getting. And then in that case, we understand we have to take less. But when you got the money, stop lowballing black people as if to say, oh, this is more than you ever gonna get, or you need to be grateful that you're here. Cut that crap.
Because somebody, I'm looking in the camera and I'm looking at you. You know who I'm talking to. I don't care how talented you are, how arrogant, how great you are. I don't care. You could name the field. I don't care how many tickets you sold, records you sold, championships you got, how much profit your company has made. Somebody at one time gave you a shot.
Yeah.
Believed in you or didn't hate on you, and at least got out of your way and allowed you to prove to them and to the world that you were as good as you believed you were, or poured into you and made you that believed in you more than you believe in yourself and gave you a shot. None of us has gotten anywhere when it comes to any level of success on our own. And anybody that tells you that is a fool, because they're lying. I don't care who you
Absolutely.
are. Oprah,
Absolutely.
President Obama, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Beyonce, Michael Jackson, somebody poured into them, and somebody gave them a break at a very important time in their life. So stop it. Allow yourself to be a vessel. Even if you don't have to believe in God, why wouldn't you not want to allow yourself to be a vessel, to be a blessing, or just to help somebody else, especially that looks like you? Because if you don't, then they'll say, well, the white man and what we got to do, we got to stick together. Start with yourself, damn it.
And listen, at the risk of getting you bee stings all over yourself because I'm about to mention the Beyonce. Oh, get your epileptic fin out.
Well,
Because
then you know what, Key?
I'm about to call her out too.
Well, go ahead, but I want when you do, because it's funny, whatever you, I don't know exactly what you're going to say, but
Okay.
I'll tell you the conversation that it was unsolicited that I had with somebody in the industry that knows, that talked about the generosity, and some of it I do know about because some stuff they did here, especially in 2000, in terms of like quietly getting folks out of jail, you know, with the whole protest with George Floyd. But go ahead, make your point.
And I get that, but one of the great things about Beyonce is that Beyonce is a writer. So all the singing and the dancing and the, you know, the show that she gives, she's a great performer. What she really is good at is writing. She knows how to write a hook, how to produce, how to pull that song together, right? But what a lot of people don't know is she got a stable of writers.
Oh, yes.
Okay?
Young ones.
Young ones.
And young black and brown ones, to her credit.
That's right. That's right. But it wasn't until more recently, and I think maybe she got a little scared, that they were treated in the way that they should be, given that credit on those apps. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you look at her last album, Lemonade, because I remember when it came out, Boogie is like Beyonce's like #1 fan. But just doing some research and show prep, as a matter of fact, there was an article and she talked about all these different young, especially black women writers, and producers that she had given a shot. And then I looked at the credits. That's like, oh, it's a whole bunch of names. Songs written by 4, 5, 6 people.
Exactly. And so, and it's like a village that basically she takes care of, and they are her employees and they work for her, and they're like like if you go to Nashville, they have writing think tanks where people get together and write, like a club.
Well, you know, I'm sure she learned that from her dad, but who does that sound like, Key? That should be real close to you. Think about where you are in Detroit.
In Motown, yes, like Smokey Robinson and Stevie Wonder. But
Barry Gordy had like
yes.
That was it, to collaborate and write, and they would critique each other and listen to the song. And
that's right. That was really Smokey Robinson and Barry, but mainly Smokey was ahead of that.
That was his idea.
Yes, Smokey was the writer for Motown.
But the narrative was, it was Barry Gordy's idea. They almost had like quality control with all the writers, producers, and artists.
Yes.
They would, like on a Monday, they would have these meetings and listen to a song. All right,
exactly.
This is going to be a hit, yay and nay, and they would literally vote on it.
Yes, and it was a democratic process. The yays, if the yays were the majority, the song was released. If the nay was the majority, it was not. And so yes, that quality control. But victims of that, on the flip side, again, when we're not taking care of each other, were the Funk Brothers. The Funk Brothers was the musicians, all the musicians on the music at Motown, but because they never put themselves on as producers and arrangers and writers, they didn't get, I mean, they were paid as
they were a house band, so they got
hourly,
paid like an employee, like an hourly employee.
But you don't get the residuals.
Yes.
You don't get that money over your lifetime every time that song is played. That BMI and ASCAP money. You don't get that. So that's where Motown fell apart, and where, again, another black person, for the most part, most of the Funk Brothers were black. There were some white, but for the most part, you're not taking care of your people. So I guess that's what the theme of what Geno and I are talking about today, that we got to take care of our people.
Because if we don't, we can't expect anybody else.
That's right.
Because understand that our ancestors weren't brought here to generate wealth for us.
Right.
Our ancestors were brought here to generate wealth for other people.
For others.
That don't look like
us.
So if we I am my brothers and sisters keeper. It can't be a slogan. You got to live it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got to treat somebody, just treat people and give, especially somebody, anybody, but somebody that looks like you and that you know is not necessarily going to get a shot from a community that doesn't look like them. But if you are in the position and you have the status, the power, and the resources, why would you not? Key, I want everybody on my team. I want us all to eat well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want everybody to eat well, Key. Because I want to develop a sense of loyalty, because then I know like you and I. Unspoken trust. I know even, and that was one of the things when we worked together in Detroit, that we developed that. You were, even though you were younger than me and you were new in the business, but I saw, just like the guy that hired both of us, and like some people you mentioned, like John Mason, we all saw your talent and brilliance, because you were wise beyond your years. and Kim would talk to us like she had been producing for 20, 25 years, but you were right. Yeah. And it was always the way it was like, you understand you understand people. I always call it like managing, because in any high profile field, which is why I never wanted to be a coach in management, you got to learn how to manage people's egos. And every people are different. You got to manage some people one way. You can't do them all. No. That's right. Some people you'll piss off, or you will shut them down. They'll tune you out. But you, even then, you were like the youngest of everybody on that team with the least experience. But you knew how to. Just watching you, we've never had this. Keela would tell you, we've never had this particular conversation. I would watch Keela, and she knew how to manage everybody from the general manager to all the high-profile air personalities. Shout out to my man John Mason, is a legend in Detroit. Even your boss. You had the ability. You understood who each person was. You understood their personality, and you understood what made them tick. And you knew what would shut them down. You understood how to manage their egos and personalities. Yeah. And that was one thing that was so impressive. I'm like, wow.
It was a juggling act for sure. Baby, it was a juggling act.
And you're the youngest one with the least experience. Yeah. And to watch you do that, I'm like, wow.
And Geno, and that is exactly.
And a woman, and a black woman. Come on now. I'm just going to put it all on the table.
And because of the nature of who our, let's say, immediate boss was, right? I'm talking about the boss that heads the stations.
Yes.
Because of the nature of who that person was, I started learning and developing my thoughts about parity and how we treat each other, and how important that is. And we can't go crying to the man about, oh, you treat it, and then come back and treat each other like straight crap.
Right. When we got the power that the man has, but
exactly,
we treat each other worse than the man treated us.
Man. And we had all the power because our particular stations, the two that we were working for, or were in the cluster with, we were the cash cow for the stations all over the country.
Yep.
That were not. We were the only urban at that time that the company owned. We, the money we made in Detroit kept everybody else in the country working.
A whole lot. Outside of Chicago.
That's
because Chicago, they had GCI at the time that was doing well.
Well, I'm talking about when they first obtained.
Oh, yeah, before Clear Channel bought them. You're right.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm talking about
good point, back. Key. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes,
yeah, I'm talking about way.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. That's right. Because we talking about 30 years ago.
Yeah, I'm talking about when you could, the first time you could buy multiple stations in a market, when all that came into fruition, we were the cash cow.
Yeah,
and to be more specific, the mainstream urban, because now they call hip hop, but at the time it wasn't considered a hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
But the mainstream urban, that was that was making so much money until it was ridiculous.
And then when we
You and
got
I worked for the oldies, and it was coming up.
Right. But but what happened, I got there, you got there.
Yeah.
We was generating the money that the mainstream urban were. Because we had an older audience, so it helped the sales department. Like, well, you know, they've got the kids, but we've got the grown people that can afford to buy Cadillacs and Mercedes and homes and all that.
Right. But yet we had to scrap for. Yeah, we won't get.
You see how I looked?
Yeah. Because what you're not going to get from Geno and I ever is that we're not the throw our people under the bus kind of people. But just understand, we had to scrap for it, baby.
Yeah. But we're gonna tell the truth now. We ain't gonna. Yeah. We're not gonna listen. The truth needs no defense. You know, I would never come on and lie about anybody. Just when the whole thing about what Cat Williams said about how Steve Harvey, in Cat's words, shitted on Bernie in terms of Steve Harvey and Steve Harvey's people. Bad mouthing Bernie Mac to people in Hollywood. Like I said on the show, Bernie told me to my face on multiple occasions that happened 30 years ago. I had a conversation that he brought up. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah,
he brought it up because it bothered him and he was hurt. He didn't say those exact words verbatim. But the whole tone and body language and the conversation, you could tell it bothered him. They had been out on tour for 3 years with the Kings of Comedy. But, and Steve snitching himself when he was on with Shannon Sharp and Club Shay Shay back in April. Yep. He was like, well, I ain't mad for, I was happy for Bernie and said they were doing movies, but they didn't want to go on, they didn't want to go on tour no more. So it's like, we were making all this money and we could still make it. But y'all don't want to go out on tour because y'all making movies.
Yeah, crabs in a barrel. Where we're not clapping and supporting each other when we're coming up. We're being jealous, or at the least, we're not doing anything to help and support.
And Key, let me just put this in there. Here's the bad part. This is whole part of the brainwash. Especially on that level, we will go behind our brother or sister's back and badmouth them to the colonizer. And then the colonizer will come right back to the other one and say, well, you know what so-and-so said about you? That you should hire them, and you ain't funny, you ain't this, you need to do this. Because, they did this, that, and the other.
It's called divide and conquer.
Oh, say that part. There you go. Thank you, Keith. Yeah. Say that part.
Yep. And on that, we dropped the mic.
Keila Carson, you know her, you love her. Your mother's just said, tell you hello.
Hi, Mom.
I love you, Key. Have a great weekend.
You too, G.
All right. Bye-bye. That's the one and only Keila Carson. I'm always blessed when she takes some time to join me. So when she's available, we'll have her on the Fridays as she is available, and we are grateful to have her on the show. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you, God, most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show live, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in a frigid Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out in an icy Portland, Oregon. Subscribe, share, screen grab, like, and binge watch this and all my back episodes. Shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show, the CEO of Designer Cuts Barbering Palace. It's more than a barber shop. It is a palace, a barbering palace here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro. Check him and his workout on Instagram. Kel be cutting up, because Kel really do. Kel be cutting his ass up. All right, KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones is, I call her the drip director. She's the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. Also, fashion designer. Check her and her collection. Her fashions, her collection. LX.N like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi, underscores LO dash at the end of LX.N, CL underscore. And a big shout out to Mr. Bruce Gage. Yes, also official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. The Mario Uomo collection, a lot of the clothes you see me wear, it's part of the Mario Uomo collection. Check him out on Instagram and his collection. It is amazing. It's Miglio di Mario Uomo. It's Italian, in case you're wondering. Miglio di Mario Uomo is M-I-G-L-I-O-D-I, spelled D-I, but it's Miglio D. It's pronounced D, I guess Italian, Latin. D-I is D is an E. M-I-G-L-I-O-D-I-M-A-R-I-O, Mario Uomo. U-O, the U, I guess, has got a W sound in Italian. U-O-M-O. Have a great weekend, everybody. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be Monday. It's going to be January 22nd. Has some great episodes this week. Make it a Geno Jones Show binge watch weekend. Start tonight. You can finish, if you missed some of this episode, go back and binge watch this episode and every episode all this week, all this year, all last year, year before, and the year before. 3 years doing the Geno Jones Show. It was 3 years in October. All right, I love each and every one of you. I do. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. Like I said, we'll see you Monday live, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. But remember, the Geno Jones Show is available 24/7, and this year, 366 and a half days, because it's a leap year, 29 days in February. 24/7, 366 and a half days on the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Subscribe, share, like, screen grab. Binge watch all those back episodes.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.